Желайка, kiedy macie polista PUULUUPi laika Ramonas pastakas, Ormsi balalaika Markonas visonas, Hatsia puraika tavaika Puakna kaipaa kosmoksesta pois ja Facebookin laika Jättumukissa miestä mä Riisalu, käsin Riisalus ringi ilma riskita sain PUULUUPi luuet saab Käsin Riisalus ringi ilma riskita sain PUULUUPi luuet saab Käsin Riisalus ringi ilma riskita sain PUULUUPi luuet saab Käsin Riisalus ringi ilma riskita sain PUULUUPi luuet saab Käsin Riisalus ringi ilma riskita sain PUULUUPi luuet saab Käsin Riisalus ringi ilma riskita sain PUULUUPi luuet saab Käsin Riisalus ringi ilma riskita sain PUULUUPi luuet saab Käsin Riisalus ringi ilma riskita I'm drinking and driving till morning Küsi, kas tän makaronid, nuudlid, mõlemad on pasta Küsi, kas tän makaronid, nuudlid, mõlemad on pasta Küsi, kas tän makaronid, nuudlid, mõlemad on pasta Küsi, kas tän makaronid, nuudlid This guy is rasta See mees on pastakas Riisalus ringi ilma riskita sain PUULUUPi luuet saab Käsin Riisalus ringi ilma riskita sain PUULUUPi luuet saab Käsin Riisalus ringi ilma riskita sain PUULUUPi luuet saab Käsin Riisalus ringi ilma riskita sain PUULUUPi luuet saab Käsin Riisalus ringi ilma riskita sain
Hello, we are PUULUUP. PUULUUP is our band name. I am Ramo Teder.
Marko Veisson.
We are playing our own music with Estonian instruments called Talharpa or hiiukannel, using looper, loop station, some effects, and our kind of what we will tell about this one, how is all about this.
All of these things. Yes, so we start about, first we talk a little bit about Talharpa, of this instrument, this tradition, and then
a little bit about effects, how we use, and about the loop station, how we use it.
Okay.
Let's start from this strange, nice instrument.
Yes, maybe a few words about the first song also.
Yeah.
So it was called Riisalus, and it is about different type of pasta foods, macaroni and noodles. Yeah. And there is this debate in Estonia, which are better, noodles or macaroni? And the answer is that they're both pasta.
Are pasta.
Okay, so this PUULUUP is a mixture of a traditional Estonian instrument called Talharpa or hiiukannel in Estonian and some modern electronics. So as you can see, this Talharpa instrument is it was mainly played by Estonian Swedes. There still is, but there was a large Swedish population living on the Western Estonian islands and on the coastline, and they played this instrument on Vormsi Island, particularly on Vormsi Island, up until 1870s. So until that time, it was like the very, very important instrument there, and it was played in every family. And then there was a religious awakening, and people decided that this instrument is too pagan, and it was played mainly for dancing. So they thought it's not so morally good for modern people to listen to this kind of instrument. So they gathered all them and most of them and lighted them in fire. So they burnt these instruments, and the tradition started to die out.
And it died out?
Practically, yes. Yeah. So, and before the Second World War, or during the Second World War, these Swedes from Vormsi Island, they went to Sweden, and after that, practically this tradition died out. It was played by, the similar instrument was played in Karelia, and it almost died out there also. But so
in Finland they call it jouhikko, so it has kind of three common names.
And then in 80s, few enthusiasts started to look for it and started to gather the information about it, listen to traditional tunes, and now there is a small revival going on in Estonia and also in Finland. And we are part of this revival, and we call our style zombie folk because the tradition died out, nobody played it, it was dead. Now it's living again, acting a little bit weirdly because we use this electronics. Yeah. So it's zombie folk, or more precisely post-zombie neo-folk or something like that. Post-folk, whatever. And yes.
I wanted to go more back to with history to tell in one theory telling this instrument, it wasn't like this then, but it developed from the lyre when they developed, or when they found that it's possible to use such thing as bow, and they tried to play with bow every different instruments. Then they noticed if you take less strings from lyre, then it's possible play with bow, but it died out from this part of the world, so it stayed in Scandinavia, and also it was in Finland, Estonia, Swedish, Norwegian, everywhere there more. And then Marko told us it went.
So it was definitely played during the Middle Ages. There are some sculptures in Trondheim in Norway where there is a Talharpa player, although they don't know that instrument anymore in Norway these days. And
so Vikings played also this instrument.
And shall we go now to the playing technique? Explain it a little bit. If you're interested, you can.
Mainly, this instrument, what now they found, there was also with 2 strings, also with 3 strings, also with 4 strings, and even there is some 5 strings instrument also found it. But mainly, everybody used now 3 or 4 strings. This is more common. In this time, when last Vormsi guys and in Karelia guys played in beginning of 20th century, they all guys used own built instrument. So the instruments looked a little bit different.
Yeah, so
our model is kind of copy from one Vormsi instrument, but in Karelia and also in Vormsi there was very different shapes, bigger, smaller kind of frames here, and
there was no unified unified version
of this and
instrument.
Also the tuning wasn't unified, so it's always every player used a little bit own tunings. Very often the tuning was many same notes like D, D, A, or D, A, D, A, or D, J, D, J, or D, A, D, J. But we stopped with quint tuning. We both have quint tuning, we have different levels. So Marko has more lower levels, so and I have.
And so there is this modern version of Talharpa. These instruments are built by Finnish master Rauno Nieminen, and he has built hundreds of those and studied how to make a perfect Talharpa. And so these definitely sound a little louder and clearer than the traditional ones, and but still they are almost copies, but with some modern knowledge about how to build violins and other musical instruments. And then how to play it. There is a very important debate between Finns and Estonians, whether you should use the back of your fingers or the inside of your fingers.
The playing technique is you have to touch strings by fingers. So the touching thing is that you can touch all different betweens. In Finland, this kind of jouhikos in Karelia was that here wasn't frame, there was only just small hole, so it was possible to play only from one string and probably only with backside of the fingers. Why this backside is better is because in a backside fingers are bones, inside is pillows. So pillows makes much more kind of soft sound. It's more clear with backside. By playing with bow, it's no so big difference. Is it touching backside or inside?
You can demonstrate maybe.
Yeah. No, but if I play by pizzicato, first string, if I play with inside of the fingers, sound is like this. If I play backside of the fingers, it's kind of this bow makes more clear tone.
Mostly it of course depends on your diet. So if I play, it doesn't make any difference. And I think that there was this debate between Finns and Estonians. Finns say that it's a must. You have to play with the back of your fingers. And Estonians during this revival started to play as well. They were playing violins, and so they used the inside of the fingers.
So all instruments playing by this way,
inside,
never with backside. Even one jouhiko Talharpa player started to search what we do with backside, and he didn't find any other things than this, playing jouhiko and doing like this one, nothing else doing with.
Yeah, but when the revival started in 80s and especially 90s and 2000s, Estonians were much poorer than Finns. So it is definitely, there is some sort of cultural materialistic explanation that Estonians were poor and skinny, and it didn't make any difference whether we used the insides or the backsides, while the Finns needed to play with the backs of the fingers. So. But maybe we should demonstrate some.
Maybe we
the bow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Bow is usually one piece of branch, pihlaka branch of the, I don't know what's the English name of this wood, which was better to make shape and all everything. So, and here is horse hairs.
Yes, horsetail.
Male horsetail. Because there is no any system as the violin bow has kind of mechanism which you can strike these hairs. Here we tight it by fingers. So most of the players put the two middle fingers between the bow and tight by this, so it goes more tight. Some of these put one finger. One finger is somehow better control with move hand, so hand is not so locked with one finger. But with two fingers, I think the pressure for kind of this way to the strings is better. At least as I'm doing, can I show? As I'm doing kind of way as no, of course it's play melodies. But if I play chords, then I like this two finger system because I have control. Kind of this control a bit better.
And there is one more important difference between a traditional talharpa and our instruments, that the name talharpa, it comes from the word tagel, or which is in Vormsi Swedish is this horsetail. So actually the strings were also made from horsetail, and it makes a specific susurrus noise or sound. And the only problem is that they don't stay in tune. So if you want to give concerts outside, or you can't. So traditionally the strings were made out of horsetail or gut strings, as I guess this instrument has. You can demonstrate maybe the gut strings later, but then there is this modern version of using this fishing cord that you, when you go fishing line, instead of horsetail, which is nylon and makes a similar sound as this horsetail, but stays in tune.
I use totally cello and viola strings, but the lower ones has cut inside, so I somehow have biological material inside of this metal, but that
so this sound is something very between viola and talharpa, maybe, that you
because the strings only. But anyway, sound is coming from both things, so bow is always doing some noise, so it's not clean, so clean, never as in violin. And
okay, and should we maybe end this part of introducing the talharpa with some traditional songs or dance tunes from Vormsi Island that were of course also considered too devilish in 1870s. and that's about Talharpa. So maybe we should now go to demonstrating the electronics that we use.
Yep. We have our kind of live set. We have one loop station, where our both instruments goes there. Also, we have special looper microphone which goes there, and I have also small contact mic under my leg, so it makes, I call it kind of bass drum. So it's kind of easy way to make this surrounded bass drum sound down of the, maybe we should talk about our effects. I use kind of lined only 3 effects which I use. Well, of course, there is some compressor which makes this, it makes more louder sound of this instrument a little bit, just a little bit compressing it. But effects which I use here is only pitch shifter, which makes I use only mixing 1 octave down. Normally the sound is like this. So then I use delay. And then I use reverb. Well, they are not so strongly on, mostly they are switched off. And loop station is has also effects, but I don't use much these effects which is built in. And
yeah, my effects are almost the same. I have this cello string here, and that I can pitch down and make this nice
octave
deep
tone,
bass.
yes.
And then I'm also using reverb, and that's mostly it. Sometimes when we need to rock and roll. We can use overdrive also, but only in the end of the concert.
Should I talk now about looper? Yeah. Yes. I show at first looper main system. Maybe you know already, but I still talking about this. It's very easy. My Boss RC 300 has kind of 3 tracks or patch or how to call it, 3 kind of loopers. You can choose, does they work separately or they work together. So I use almost all the time that they work together. So they are synchronized. If I take first loop, all other these tracks has totally same size. It's possible to somehow program there that they are synchronized, but the patches are different sized. But it's not easy to get it as how it works. So we don't use it in this way. But at first I show if I use only one looper here. I use this microphone for it, because this microphone goes to the looper. This doesn't go. And how to maybe I read numbers from 1 to 8, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2. And I pressed 3, again 4 in beginning, 5, like when 6, I think the 8 is the bar. 1, 2, so if 3, I press again, so 4, then 5. The system is that if I press, it start to record. If I press again, it's finishing recording and start to play immediately from beginning. So the first is like kind of this, where from you press again and where from you start to loop. And so now it's possible I can put 1, 2, 3, to play again, 4, 5, and stop it and 1, play 2, again. So 3, if I want now 4, to 5, overdrive, 6, 7, like 8, re-record, 1, start to, 2, then I just
3,
press again.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Now we press
1,
again.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Now it's kind of more than 2 circles there. I can, and it's possible to take endless time loop. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's kind of 3, 6, 7, 8 levels here, 2, but 3, 4, 5. All this I can stop and play again, stop and play. But now I show how it works when I use all these 3 tracks. So, but of course we can use it as we take everything here to this first looper. All is this, but the problem is that if you stop it, then everything stop it. Play everything, play, start to play it. 5, so it's 6, 7, 8, 1. Nice way, like if I try to, I switch off my pitch shifter and I think like I'm doing a kind of basis for a second track. 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now it's kind of 2 loopers working together, and if I want to make kind of solo for a third track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now all 3 plays same time. So now it's possible I stop some of them. I let only the last part to play, and I can switch off everything. I can play all together again, or let just only some of them to play. So it's much more kind of give you much more dynamics to combine the songs. So always can think what you put somewhere, and yeah, it's possible also to reverse all these loopers, separate. I reverse now the melody. Now it's reversed. Even if all others goes normally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in this looper is 2 ways possible to stop the loops. One way is if I all starts to play. One way is I stop immediately. Another way is if it's fade out. So I have add it like this. If I press once, it's fading out. If I press twice, it's stopping immediately. So it's immediate.
And it's possible to play something that you have already recorded, pre-recorded.
Yeah.
But we don't do that.
Yeah, we play everything in a live.
It's called live looping, right? Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So if we make a mistake in the beginning, then this mistake will follow us the whole 5 minutes, the whole song. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's very cost effective, of course. First we had this, our group was much larger. We had 60 Talharpa players, all Estonian Talharpa players in PUULUUP. And it sounded very nicely, but nobody invited us to any foreign gigs because it was so big. And then we kicked everybody out and bought a looping station instead, and now we are traveling, and yeah, you can afford us. Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should show another song song with looper to play now. What shall we play?
Let's play Kasekesed.
Kasekesed.
And of course there is also this tradition that you have to tune your instrument constantly, because traditional Talharpa with horsehair strings, it got out of tune very easily. Of course our modern instruments, they stay in tune, but it's just to pay respect to this tradition, we are still tuning our instruments.
Maybe a little bit more.
Kus on minu kaasekesed, kus on minu kaasekesed, metsas on, kus on minu kaasekesed, kus on minu kaasekesed, kus on minu kaasekesed, metsas on, kus on minu kaasekesed. Чуваки, асана самания, вананено, убесало, а ти ке се плено, я на жану, обезе, уке се панду, дими воке, а чама се пе, я на пеке, я на жанду, банана мой, воке, а нами, а побеше нанду, а если фоточка не откроется, а вода полнами. Сама с тобой, там держи, тобой держи, там держи, тобой держи, там держи, тобой держи.
Thank you. So this was about birch trees, this song, and we are using different languages, the ones that just come up to our minds. We don't have any concept that we should or should not sing in Russian or English or Finnish or Estonian. We use all these languages, and then we also improvise vocally and sing all, well, the most common question is what language do you use when you sing, and how you make the lyrics, and the answer is that well, it's important to know what you want to say, and then you don't need to know the languages. You can just improvise, and mainly the chorus is the same always, like Kus on minu kasekesed, but and then there are maybe some parts that are also the same, but then a lot of it is improvisation and differs a little bit always. And it's equally and very democratically understandable to all cultures and languages.
Exactly. Maybe we ask what about we should talk, or
do you have questions?
Yeah.
But even if they have, I guess there is no way we can hear them.
We can't.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we can.
Maybe we can.
So they were asking how we started to play together and what's our background. So because Ramo is a famous underground musician, he has also a solo project called Masterclass, where he plays all instruments, not only Talharpa.
Not all, but guitar and mandolin and bass and flute.
And he's one of the pioneers of looping in Estonia, I guess. Already 20 years ago he was looping. And then there is this, I started as, this Talharpa was just a hobby for me in the beginning. I have not studied music. My background is in social sciences. And then I started to practice it, and we met, there are these camps or gatherings of the Talharpa enthusiasts, and the ones who want just to learn to play the instrument. So you are actually all welcome. If you're interested, every summer there is a camp on Vormsi Island, which is the fourth biggest island in Estonia. And in every August there is a camp where everybody can, not everybody, but the ones who register can come and start studying the instrument. And also in Viljandi, I am working in Viljandi Culture Academy, which is part of University of Tartu, and you can study the traditional music there. And there is also this vibrant scene of, not too vibrant, but more and more vibrant every year, scene of Talharpa players around Viljandi. So we have a nice community of people who play this instrument. We come together and play traditional tunes and also some modern tunes. So, and Ramo has invented a kind of his own playing style, actually, the way you play the chords. It's not a thing that you can see from traditional recordings.
Yeah, it's
so maybe you want to demonstrate it.
I already demonstrated.
Yes.
It's the playing style of the Talharpa is actually it's kind of family of the Bourdon instruments, which means that like always some strings are openly with. So mainly, usually the bridge was totally flat. There wasn't this as violin has very, very kind of surrounded, we circled. But we did change our instruments just a little bit more modern, so it's a little bit also
curvy.
Yeah.
To be able to play
separate strings, so we can choose which 2 or 3 we want to play together. So, but mainly if pitch was flat, all 4 strings was sounded in the same time. So that's why they used this D A or A E or whatever kind of tunings, which are very nice tunings, and also it sounds very nice if you play these traditional tunes with kind of this very open tunings. Always some D is with during all song. And thing what I like, what we use in this with this instrument is that it sounds so. For me, at least, of course, all kind of this acoustical wooden instrument sounds nice. Percussion way, so we use kind of more bass drum sound from this part of the and some very kind of Marko.
If you pitch down, you can get that
more easily. Yeah. And also sometimes we play some noise sums from these parts. All sounds nice. We took many instruments with. We was thinking that we can try to play. So we have both.
Yeah, if you actually if you are very interested, then tomorrow we have a concert. So after the concert, you can let us know. Then we will take some extra instruments with us, and you can try how to play them.
And also about looper, I can let you try after concert if this is possible to introduce. There is more systems what you can use always. For instance, here is also tempo which you can change. We doesn't change it in our live or with our songs almost at all. Sometimes only. No, I demonstrate maybe fast.
Okay.
I play openly. 3 strings. Now it started loop. Maybe I play a little bit more here. So if I want to change tempo of this, it's possible, but it doesn't keep the quality of the sound so well anymore. It has to cut it for small pieces. Now it shows randomly 141 the BPM speed. Now I try to push it a little bit slower. You can listen, it starts to doing like this. So it's somehow it's not the quality doesn't change, stay. It will change if you change the speed of the looping. So that's why we doesn't use it so often.
So and then sometimes we are asked also how we make our songs. So which is we mostly come together and jam and then record it and listen at the second day and sometimes we find something that we like and then we start to study what we did. But maybe in the end, before we do one more song, maybe we can say some words about this folk music scene in Estonia in general, and where do we position ourselves, or how are we seen in that? Because of course we use this traditional instrument, but actually all our songs, they have only a small, very often, well, not very often, sometimes we have small references to traditional folk tunes, but that were played with this instrument. But it's not traditional music that you hear when we play. Yeah, today we demonstrated these traditional tunes just for this workshop, but otherwise we make our own songs, and we're also performing sometimes on indie music festivals or whatever music festivals, not only exclusively folk festivals. Although, as we play all this instrument, this traditional or world or folk music festivals are like very common festivals for us. And I think that we are lucky, not lucky, but I think that because this tradition was practically died out, then we are free to use it almost as we like. We are exploring the possibilities of these instruments and trying to, make it more and more popular. So people, actually, it's not very well-known instrument in Estonia. Now it is more known a little bit, but it was maybe 10 years ago. It was like, you could ask anybody. Only few people knew that this is Hiiu kannel, and it is played with a bow, and so this revival is really working now, and it's becoming more and more popular, but it's not like a common traditional instrument. And as it is not a common instrument, then there is not so many people who would tell you that, hey, you are playing it wrongly, or you shouldn't do this technique, or it's not the tradition that you are following. Because we know that tradition was there, and we are taking inspiration from it. We like to play the traditional dance tunes also when we are jamming together with other Talharpa players, but otherwise we just use it as an instrument and as any musical instrument. So we are not caught in this discussion whether this is authentic or whether this is the right way to play or wrong way, except maybe this...
The backside playing,
yes.
Telling this backside playing is totally right, authentic playing style, but it's so... in the beginning it's so hard to play only with backside, so in beginning they let always for beginners play with inside part of the...
Sure.
Because the fingers moving like this always, like every instrument which you play or everything what you do, they're moving like this. So they doesn't go backside. You can't move the fingers from here to backside. So the only way to sync is I think if this is string, is that you put the 0 point and take fingers away from the 0 point. So the backside playing meaning is that you take away from there. But back, take away, like this. It's like different way to...
Yes. So we are lucky in this sense that there is no... We are not like accused in any these things that maybe some other instrument players or singers might be accused of when they are singing traditional songs. Then there are this tradition of
you
singing.
Can't do like this.
Yeah, that there are people who will tell you that this is the wrong way of singing or this is the right way of singing a traditional song. We don't have that problem. Yes. So shall we do one more song for the end?
Yeah. Yes. No, I wanted to add this that because all old instruments, what they found is, of course, they are now in all authentic instruments from this 100 years old, which they are in museums. So Rauno, which built our instruments, it's kind of Finnish master.
Rauno Nieminen.
He did copies of all these instruments, totally copies. So all instruments has different way to build it, different way to.
So he really studied it carefully. He even defended his PhD in Sibelius Academy on how to build this instrument. So if you are interested and you want to actually build it, you can. You can get from his website. You can get these
drawings.
The instructions how to build and the
instruction drawings.
The drawings, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, meaning is always same. It's wooden box, which has frame, or if it was one food here, then here was hole, but mainly the frames and wooden box.
Yeah. So mainly this contains of two pieces of wood. Yes, this is like all one piece, and the hole is carved inside, and then the cover is glued on top of it.
And one instrument, which from old time, very poor instrument, which didn't have the wooden box, which was one piece of wood. Here was hole and two strings on it, so it's a very punk version. Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe we should play a song without looper, or.
Maybe without looper and maybe even without bow.
Bow, okay. Yeah.
Like Süütä mu lumi.
Yes, it's possible also use instrument
with pizzicato.
Bow instrument, with pizzicato.
So the song is called Süütä mu lumi, which means light my snow, and it tells about
light my snow,
and it tells
about love.
Really? Okay. About love and many other issues, like for example this feeling that you need to go out and take some firewood to get your room heated, but you don't want to go there because you are afraid of the neighbor's dog and maybe the neighbor also.
Süütä mu lumi on ainult siit. 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 Süütä mu lumi. Süütä mu lumi. Süütä mu lumi. Süütä mu lumi. Laupäeva hommikul vedelen laual, ärkan ja natuke pearingi käib. Raadios Mari kalkunit laulab, raha on külmutuskapi pealt läinud. Kuuri peaks minema selleks, et tuua korvitäis puid, et tuba saaks soe. Kuid ma ei lähe, sest õues mind luurab naabri ei tõeldal kuri on koer. Süütä mu lumi on ainult siit. 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 Süütä mu lumi. Süütä mu lumi. Süütä mu lumi. Süütä mu lumi. Hangede hembus veel unes on meeles, haprate sildade reetlikud read, ületab paksu ja praotunud keele. Lüikavas vaikuses köisima sean, kas sellest on kasu. Langeb kui jää, kõiki kaasa meid veab, ehmatus summutab lumine lasu. Hangede hembuses kohtume seal, süütä mu lumi on ainult siit. 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 Süütä mu lumi. Süütä mu lumi. kuula mu lumi.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for your questions. And see you tomorrow evening.
Questions? No questions. Maybe.
There were some questions. We heard some. Yeah, so I was thanking for those. So see you tomorrow, hopefully.
See you tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And if you're interested, really, you can build or buy the instrument and join our camps.
Estonian camps are written folk.ee about courses.
Mostly also in February, there is a small camp gathering of enthusiasts in Viljandi, which is very close. Okay.
Yeah.